it was Halloween night. And like most people, I should have been home, handing out candy to kids in costumes or watching horror movies on the couch. But instead, I was stuck at the airport. My flight had been delayed for hours. No one knew why. The announcements were vague. The staff gave us nothing but apologies. Slowly, one by one, most of the passengers were reseated onto other flights or given hotel vouchers, but not me. Not the handful of us who were unlucky. We were left behind. By the time the plane was finally ready, there were only a few of us left. And honestly, I didn't mind. Normally, you'd have to pay thousands for first class just to get some peace and quiet. Now, I had a whole cabin practically to myself. When I boarded, most of the other stragglers had already clustered in the back rows, huddled together like they knew each other. I chose a seat in the front, by the window, a quiet corner where I could relax. The flight had originally been scheduled during the day, but thanks to the delay, it was now an overnight flight. The sky outside was black, empty, with no stars. I missed the view, the little city lights shrinking below, the sun setting over the horizon. Instead, I had nothing to look at but my own reflection in the window. I tried to distract myself. I pulled out my phone, thinking I'd read, maybe listened to music. And that's when the flight attendant approached. She leaned down and asked, softly but firmly, "Would you mind moving to sit with the other passengers?" I frowned. Why? My seat was fine. The plane was nearly empty, but I didn't argue. I was traveling light. I figured maybe there was some sort of protocol I didn't know about, so I moved. That's when the atmosphere changed. Almost immediately, the casual murmurs between passengers dropped into silence. Conversations faded into whispers. Frightened looks were exchanged. It was as if a heavy, invisible weight had settled over the cabin. Have you ever felt that sudden shift in the air? Like joy has been drained from the world, like you'll never laugh again. That's what it felt like. I followed their gaze and froze. At the back of the cabin, propped awkwardly in a seat, was a body. A passenger who hadn't made it. Pale, lifeless. A corpse. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The thought of spending hours trapped in the sky with a dead person just a few feet away, it made my stomach churn. The staff didn't explain. Maybe they weren't allowed to. Maybe they were just following procedure. But I could feel bile rising in my throat. I couldn't sit there, not without air. So I got up and made my way to the restroom. Inside, I leaned against the mirror, trying to calm myself. "Get a grip," I whispered. "It's just for a few hours. You're not the only one here." And then, bang. The door shuddered violently behind me. My heart nearly stopped. Another thud, louder. Then silence. I stood frozen, listening to my own breathing. Minutes passed. Finally, I forced myself to unlock the door. I cracked it open, peering out into the dim aisle. Nothing. I stepped out cautiously, looking left and right. The plane was silent, and then the flight attendant appeared. She came from nowhere, rolling a service trolley so close I almost collided with it. She looked calm, even cheerful, like she'd just finished serving drinks. But when her eyes met mine, something felt wrong. Her expression was blank, too blank. The way she stared, it wasn't the polite smile of a professional. It was suspicion, almost as if she knew. I knew. I broke eye contact immediately. She said nothing, just pushed her trolley past me, offering drinks to the others. I slipped back into my seat, still shaken. As I sat down, it hit me. I had walked right past the corpse again, sat down only a few feet away. The thought made my skin crawl, and yet none of the other passengers seemed disturbed anymore. They sat quietly, sipping drinks, avoiding my eyes. None of them had reacted to the banging on the restroom door. None of them seemed to hear it at all. Maybe it hadn't been that loud. Maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe it was some Halloween prank, some cruel joke. But I know what I heard, and when I glanced toward the back of the cabin, I could swear the dead passenger's head had shifted, just slightly, as if it was no longer slumped, but watching. I never told anyone. Not the airline, not my friends, not even my family. Who would believe me? The silence, a corpse, the thud on the door. And I wonder, was I really sitting on a plane with a dead passenger? Or was I flying with something else entirely?